So, believe it or not, Nigel Farage is in town. Unfortunately, I missed him. I was at work when he happened to arrive, shall we say. But this comes from Hope Not Hate, and it's quite a good summing up, really. Carpetbaggers, Islamophobes, and fringe politics. We take a look at the Brexit Party candidates in Barnsley. So nice to be my hometown to be featured. Well, I suppose it really isn't, but there we go. Tomorrow, Nigel Farage and his Brexit Party arrive in Barnsley, South Yorkshire, as they continue their flagging and crisis-stricken campaign. We take a look at the candidates set to be sharing a stage with Farage, from a Crime Stoppers UK board member whose own company was slapped with a conviction to a known Islamophobe, to a councillor from an oddball political party that appears to have formed an alliance of sorts with the Brexit Party. So first of all, Jim Ferguson, aka James Ferguson, for Barnsley East. So this isn't mine, I'm Barnsley Central mine, so this isn't mine one. So, initially announced as a candidate for Inverness, Nairn and Bonnock, and South Shipley, Jim Ferguson has been shuttled across to contest Barnsley East, despite having boasted in September that all Brexiteers are local to the areas we are standing in. Ferguson is far from the only Brexit Party candidate to be parachuted into a constituency. For example, the nomination papers of Stephen Cavell, who describes himself as a senior private equity executive and is also due to address the Brexit Party event tomorrow, has stated that his home address is in the constituency of Chelsea and Fulham, London, some 180 miles away from Worth-on-Dearne. So, South Yorkshire is where he is standing. However, Ferguson appears to be particularly shameless carpetbagger. Just 2 months ago, he was describing himself as a great big Scottish Highlander who loved being Scottish, but recently proclaimed himself a Yorkshireman by heart on Twitter. Most ironic, however, is that Ferguson sits on the advisory board of an anti-crime charity, Crime Stoppers UK, as its Scottish regional representative. However, in 2014, Ferguson, who is the director of the security firm Castle Security Group, Northern, pled guilty on behalf of the company to placing unlicensed security guards in licensable security roles. The company received a fine for those activities. Next up, John Brooker for Penistone and Stocksbridge. Brooker, a former UKIP councillor, was outed in August by the Twitter account of Mates Jacob for having written a long post on social media claiming that the US was cutting its own throat by not fighting back against the spread of Islam. Brooker had also linked a Facebook comment alleging that the Muslims had a plan to take over the world, another seeming call for violent action against Islam and Muslims. Another standing complaint from Majid Majad, the former mayor of Sheffield, of Somalian heritage. Despite the revelations being picked up by the press months before nominations closed, Farage ignores calls to sack Booker, making him just one in a shamefully long list of candidates the Brexit Party is yet to still disavow. And this is who I will be voting against. So this is Victoria Felton for Barnsley Central. This year, Victoria Felton was elected as a Barnsley councillor for the oddball Democrats and Veterans Party. We've talked about these guys before, and they are completely they are completely nutty. This entire family. Her husband runs this party, and it was a split off originally from UKIP. So her husband, the former UKIP candidate Gavin Felton, is a DNV chairman. DNV is led by John Rhys Evans, a former UKIP leadership candidate, best known for his extraordinary claim that a homosexual donkey tried to rape his horse, and for a profile in Viz magazine in which the ex-soldier detailed the fetid underground bunker that he had built in Bulgaria. Vice also reported that Rhys Evans took a gun to a branch of IKEA in case terrorists tried to attack the shop. Rhys Evans has since denied that he has taken his gun in for that reason. As others have pointed out, the party's use of a donkey in its own logo is perhaps unwise, given Rhys Evans' history. The party also claimed that the association of its initials with diarrhea and vomiting was deliberate, as politics was making them sick. However, a more troubling side to DNV is that Rhys Evans was slammed by his colleagues for suggesting during his 2017 UKIP leadership run that dual nationals could be paid up to £9,000 to leave the UK. The below passage from their manifesto makes reference to the discredited conspiracy theory of no-go zones. So this is from their manifesto. Political correctness and moral cowardice are just part of our government has been responsible for the creation of no-go areas throughout Britain, with the police being told by the superiors to avoid certain areas of the capital when in uniform for fear of their lives. Our police are required to waste much of their time on diversity training and pointless bureaucracy when they should be focused on preventing and detecting crime and protecting people and property. The manifesto goes on to say that the practice of female of the practice of female genital mutilation. Laws that have been on our statute books for 30 years and which protect innocent young girls from cruel mutilation by those entering our country with no desire to respect our laws, customs and culture. You can see where this is going. This is typical far-right nonsense, and they're scary Muslims. The reason for this neglect is clear. FMG is the preserve of ethnic minorities, and the government fears provoking racial tensions. These are several controversies surrounding the party. A candidate for DNV in the local elections claimed that he would apply for the job as executioner if Donald Trump began killing immigrants. In October of this year, the Examiner Live reported that a row involving the DNV councillor James Dalton could cost local taxpayers as much as $60,000 due to a judicial into the handling of the complaints against his offensive tweets. In light of this, it is somehow concerning that it seems the claims of an alliance between Farage and the DV. So yeah, I'm sure we've done a video about it in the past, but yeah, the DV are this really, really bizarre, incestuous party because, as you've seen, his wife is running for Central. He's the chairman of the party, and I think several other family members are also involved in running this party. But their manifesto is, I'm pretty sure we must have gone over it in the past. If not, then I need to go actually make a video about it, because it is just the absolute cuckoo, wacky, right-wing scare politics I have ever seen. But those are the people that Farage is running in my constituency of Barnsley. So, yeah, please, God, people of Barnsley, do not vote for these people. They are insane.